You're calling me on
Hello,
Instagram?
ladies and gentlemen from around the world. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Global Talkative Series with your host, Lanre Ajayi, coming to you from our Global Talkative Series studios here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And we're reaching you real time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And on this show, we've been blessed to have amazing and wonderful guests coming to spend and share their time with us, giving us instruction, directions, encouragements, especially during this challenging time in the history of humanity. And today is not an exception. We have amazing guests in the house, and I'm going to bring her in on Instagram before we go into the full discussion. So
Okay,
just
so
send
I
an
click.
invitation to our guest and then we'll be right on so that we can carry everybody along on this platform. Have you seen any requests to join?
Send the
Okay.
request.
Yes, I've seen that. All
I didn't see
right.
the request.
Okay. So anyway, from now, our guest will be joining us as well on Instagram so that everybody can. That is amazing. We have our guest on Instagram and let's adjust the sound. That is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest on the show today is Jumoke Olatunde, filmmaker and a director. And our topic of discussion today is motherhood and career. Welcome, Jumoke. How are you today?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I hope I can maybe talk about something that is second nature. So sometimes we don't think about it, but it's an interesting topic, and I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you very much. And for those who are joining us, right from the beginning, Emmanuel London of Breeze Media, thank you for joining. And those who are watching on Instagram and YouTube, thank you very much. And like we do it on this show, I'm going to start reading the bio of our guest so that you can connect with our guest and know the kind of questions. Today's topic is very, very unique in the sense that we are all from a mother and we have mothers, and we need to understand the challenges this special being go through at home, at work, and then we can have a wonderful time. Thank you, Sam Obade of Motive Photography, for joining as well. Here goes the bio of our guest, Ade Jumoke Olatunde. Jumoke, as she's popularly known, is a filmmaker, pastor, and mother. Her films have been shown in film festivals, international cable networks, and in-flight entertainment. Prior to filmmaking, she ran a charity organization which catered to underprivileged children in Warri, that is eastern part of Nigeria. This got her to be celebrated as a Niger Diamond by Ebony Live Studios to celebrate Nigeria at 50. As a pastor, she presides over a local church here in Calgary, the Living Christ Evangelical Ministry. She's a mother of five children, three being her biological children and two of her nieces. She made the first Nollywood movie in Calgary in 2018 with A-list Nigerian and Canadian actors. Once again, Jumoke, welcome on today's live chat. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Very good. Very good. Thanking God for the good weather we still have. Huh?
Yes, before the white strangers started coming up, white aliens, I call them white aliens, started falling. Now, our topic of discussion today is motherhood and career. Now, this is a major topic. It's part of our life. We cannot, but it's something we can't avoid. It's part of our life. Our nature. And I'll just
Yeah.
go straight into the question of today. And the first question I have for you today is, how do you balance motherhood and career?
Yeah, so I wouldn't just speak personally. I'll just say generally because it's different in different places. In Nigeria, where you have help, it's a different challenge. Uh, Places like Canada, where you don't have help, it's a different challenge. But I think the most important thing is just understanding that before you're a mother, you're a person. And after
Hmm.
being a mother, you're still going to be a person. So you need to have your own goals and not get lost in pursuing, like in bringing up children. We had this interesting conversation in church yesterday, and we're talking about how children, from the moment they are born, they need your time, your attention. So you get used to giving all of your time, all of your attention to the children, and then forsaking yourself. So I think the most important thing is, like, so speaking for in places like Canada, I advise women to find careers that are flexible, find some part-time work,
Oh, Jumoke.
and also
Sorry. One of our viewers just sent in that you don't have audio on Instagram. Can you try and maybe increase the volume of your
on
phone a bit?
Instagram.
Yeah, you don't have audio. They don't hearing
Oh,
you. So can you just try and increase a little bit?
can you hear me now? I probably need to speak out.
Well,
Can
just continue. Oh,
you hear
said
me now?
Jumoke has no audio on Instagram. Oh, the can seems not to hear you on Instagram.
Okay. I I will have to fix that.
No, it's not okay. Is it something you can do now?
Yes, but I would need to put in a headset. That's
Oh, to the Instagram. So, but I can't hear you again on the laptop. Okay, we're still with our guest, so we're just trying to solve a little bit of uh technical issues because of the audio part on Instagram. Thank you, Emmanuel Lundion, for that notification. We are still live on Facebook and YouTube, and also our guest is going to be coming back on Instagram just to join us, to be part of the show. So we're waiting for her to coming back on Instagram now. Okay, yes, I can hear you. Yeah, but on YouTube, can you hear me on YouTube? Can you hear me on Facebook? I'm as in from the studio. Okay, Manuel, we can hear you on YouTube, on Instagram now. But I'm hoping that yes, if you're watching us on Facebook, please just let us know if you can hear us on Facebook and on YouTube. I can hear you.
this
Yes, both
was
ways.
muted. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
good, good. So we're good. Thank you,
Okay.
Sam. Yeah, so we're good on both ways. So let's continue. So the
Okay.
question.
So basically, what I was saying is that um, motherhood and careers, for long we've been we it they, both of them contend for your time, and I always say that it's one of the problems that we women have to deal with. Like we is one of those things we must not complain about, because we want both worlds, which is really good. And it's really important that we have to understand that the children demand so much of our time, but we have to also find a way to build a career alongside. In Nigeria, like I said, where there's help, it's a different ball game. You don't the disadvantages, you don't have so much part-time work. So it's either you're full, you go full in, or you come full out. So places like Nigeria, the options usually is maybe business, which also is an option here. But you find a lot of women, because you wake up 5 a.m., you're out of the house, you come back 8 p.m., the kids are in bed. A cousin of mine, she actually mentioned that she saw her kids in school uniform twice.
Wow.
Just two times, yes, because before she wakes up, they're in school. By the time she comes back, they're in bed. The maid is the one taking care of them. Another friend of mine, she came home one day with the maid, and the child was running towards the maid instead of her.
Oh
So
wow.
those are the challenges in Nigeria. And that's why you see a lot of women going into business, which is actually very good. Here, I think we have more options. There's more options to work maybe from home, options to work, flexible working, so women can pursue that. And if you don't have that, if you're an engineer, you can go full in. I don't think some women have that guilt, like, oh, I'm going for my career, I'm leaving my children. The truth is the children will grow, they would leave you, you know or you get to an age where you think, okay, yeah, now I've brought them up, then what next? So I think women always have to think, we always have to think about that balance. you know if you have to get a maid, if you have to put them in daycare, whatever it is, you have to work around it. That's my advice for women, about balancing career and the home.
Thank you very much. Now, going to the next question. Can you be a mom and have a career? Can
One
you juggle
million
two together?
percent. In fact,
And
you
explain.
should have a career. Yeah, that's what I just you need to have a career. The career can be, you need to have a career. Be it, oh, you have a business. Business is a career. You know, you have a business. I have my older sister. She works with Shell. She has a career. Her kids are not lacking. I have many friends that are working in the office. They go in the morning, come in the evening. You as a mom, you should have a career. It's important because you are a person. You have your own destiny. You have to manifest your own destiny. God has put something in you. There's something in you that you need to share with the world. You're not going to. And the thing about kids is they take most of your prime, but they would leave. So you find some mothers, because they were not able to build a career or build something for themselves, when the kids get married, they start jumping. They're always in their house. They're always this. And then you probably start causing problems for the children. So I think it's really important that we know as women that we can, not only that we can, we actually should. You should pursue a career. Canada is such a wonderful place. I'm really blessed to be here because there's so many opportunities we have. It's almost never too late. At 50, you can start a career. It may not be what you would have chosen at 20, but we have those options. So I think every woman should pursue a career, no matter what it is.
That is amazing. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to flip the question. Every woman should have a career. The question is, can working mom be a good mother?
Yes. A working mom can be a very, very good mother. I would not lie that it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be very challenging for you as a mother. The way, if you look back in time, back to history, you find out that the men went out to fend and the women stayed home, right, to take care of, because both are full-time jobs. So we women now, we're in a very interesting mix. It's almost like we've put ourselves in this position, where we now have to also go out and also take care of the home. So thankfully, men these days understand that their women have to pursue their careers. Women also understand they have to pursue their careers, but we also understand that it makes the work double. You, Mr. Larry, you finish work, you get home, food is ready, the kids have done homework, but your wife comes, and even if it's 11 o'clock, she still has to check this, she has to check that. Even if she's not, you're helping with the kids, she has to probably check stock. Oh, we're running out of meat. I have to go to the market. You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's more work, doesn't mean it's not doable. It's doable. And the truth is, there's so many careers these days. There's so many different types of careers. It's no longer, the way it used to be. Things have changed. There are more different ways to pursue your career have come up. So I really feel that I have a lot of friends, that have full-time jobs, and their kids are fantastic, doing very well in school, very well brought up. The only thing women need to know is that as a woman, because you have two jobs, which is being a mother and having a career, you need support. You can't do it yourself. And that's why we appeal to the men, to understand. We thank God a lot of men these days understand that women need to have fulfillment as well. So men are stepping up. They're helping. Hopefully they're helping in the kitchen, helping around the house. But yeah, I know many good men. I don't think there's any maybe I don't know if there's statistics to show, but I don't think there's any way that proves that if you're home more, you know, you're a better mom. It's a guilt that a lot of women
Mm.
have to
Thank you very much. Now, talking in terms of career for women, what is a good career for a mom?
for a mom. Okay, so I'm not the authority on that. There is some statistics. I'll pull it up and try to share it. But I would say these days, I personally, from my own experience, I advise women to seek jobs that allow them to also fulfill the 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 what do I call it? What's the word I'm looking for? The things they need to do at home. The
Mm,
what's the word again? Yeah, so I would advise women to look for those kind of jobs. You may want to be, you know, go to space, you may want to be an astronaut. Fine, if that's what you want, but if you want to have a home and a career, I would personally advise that you find something that gives you the flexibility to manage both. So things like working from home, things like even business, like I said, a lot of women go into business just for that one reason. You own your time. You're flexible. If your child has a recital, you can say, okay, no, I won't schedule anything here. I'll schedule later. If it's maybe deliveries, I'll do that later. So that's what I would say. Things that have to do with maybe just basically
mm.
flexible working careers
Thank you
and
very much.
business
Yeah,
and
thank
business.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. The next question is a bit kind of tricky and not really tricky because we're talking about career for working moms. And, women work at home, they work in the office or whatever they're doing. So the question is, how many hours do working moms work?
So that varies from person to person, but I mentioned earlier about part-time. As a mother, you might find yourself choosing more less hours, and honestly, this is one of the problems we have in building, like excelling in careers. If we are honest, we know that the number one problem women have in their career is actually the other demands on the home front, because a man can put in 50 hours, but a woman, by the time you do 30 hours, you're already thinking, have my children eating? Even here, I had a friend that had a nanny here, and the lady closes by 5. So once it's 5, you have to be home to take care of your children. So those kind of things. So I don't know. I think that question would depend on the individual. If you think, okay, you can manage 40 hours, all well and good. If you have capable support at home. I know families where the man maybe works during the day, the woman works at night, or the man, or you have a mother or somebody around, to help you. If my mom is here, I will go. I'll even travel for 1 week, you know. So I think it just depends, on it. That would be an individual. You will have to decide, and
Mm.
you have to decide based on the demands of your other career, which is bringing up the children, which is actually like um, what I say, obligation and the primary task that you have as a woman. If you are a mother, if you chose to bring a child into this world, you need to take care of that child. You need to do your best to take care of that child. That child has to take priority because you chose to bring that child into this world. But the other thing is, um so talking about the hours, you know if your job, like sorry, when your children are younger, you might find that you have less time, and that's why I'm appealing to women that at that time still try to pull the career along. It might be part-time, it might be reduced hours, it might be going into something different, like maybe a different type of your job, you know and after that, as the children grow older, you might find yourself being able to give in 40 hours, 50 hours, 100 hours if possible. So it depends on the individual, it depends on their family dynamics, it depends on just a couple of things, but it is a very, very individual decision. It
Thank you
is.
very much. This is still the Global Talkative Series with your host Lanre Ajayi, and our guest today is Jumoke Olatunde, a film director, a filmmaker, and a movie director. And our topic of discussion today is motherhood and career. And if you have any question for our guest, you can type in your questions, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I want to use this opportunity to thank Super Tamis, Dr. Kangong, Dolly Pizzo for joining this conversation. Oduremi Akintola Samuel, Wahab Lukman, thank you. And all those who are joining us from around the world, thank you very much for joining. So, the next question I have for you is how can I be a good working mom?
Mom, how can I be a good working mom? So that's where the guilt comes in. Oh, I'm working, I have my career, I have my children. I think you need to use resources. You know, if that resource means having a help, if you're in Nigeria, if that resource is, if the resource is a daycare center, if that resource is even your family, getting your mom or someone that you really trust to come, because I wouldn't lie to you, both of them are very demanding, especially when you have children that are a bit challenging. You find that you're struggling. You have a deadline, but your child needs this. You have a deadline, but do you understand? So to be a good working mom, I would say use your resources, use whatever it is in your area. And then there are other women that have made it. There are other women that have made it. They've succeeded in that career that you're pursuing. Go for some mentorship, find out, or even just speak to them, sorry, and then, just talk. And then there are all these women support groups as well. The world has changed in the last 10 years. There's so many support groups. Is it on Facebook? Is it in the church? There's so many support groups. So you need to identify that it's going to be a challenge and then figure out how other people have done it and what works in your situation. I think that for me, basically, is just use your resources, plan your time. You have to plan your time according to your priorities. Plan, okay, I'm going to do this and do this and do this. And then at night, like there was a time I was so busy, and my son, that was last year actually, and he was supposed to be preparing for an exam. And because I know I'll be driving a lot, I go with him in the car. And he's in the car, he would read, he will ask me the questions, I will answer him, So you need to figure out what works for you, and, be I would say maybe just be innovative as
Mm,
well,
mm,
to figure out how you're going to make it work.
mm.
So that's what I personally think.
Thank you very much. Be innovative, use your resources, help support group. Thank you. That's amazing. The next question is career more important to you than family?
Okay, so let me tell you a very interesting story. I started doing film because I got pregnant and I was new to Lagos. I didn't know how to take care of my baby. So after doing training, about to resume, I first took maternity leave. And after that, I just quit and stayed home but now looking back, if I were to advise a younger person, considering, like I said, about the resources, you can just go on YouTube, mothers, one thing, and find out. I was in a new town. I really didn't know anybody. My friends were so far away, and I didn't have a lot of my friends were not married. They didn't have those challenges. So I didn't even know who to speak to. My older sister was working, like I said, but she was working in Port Harcourt. She started her career in Warri. She would drop her kids with my mom. So I didn't even know where to get a mate. That's how bad it was, because I was in a new town, So I'm saying this because I left my career, and that's how I was able to figure out something else. So the first thing I did was the charity work, which I had started before I left Nigeria. And then after starting the charity work, I realized that I needed money, to fund it. And that's when I said, okay, yeah, the next thing I was going to do was film, and then I went into filmmaking. So the reason I'm going through all this is just to say that most women, would choose family over career. I believe that is how it should be, because career, like I said, leaving a job doesn't mean you've ended your career. There are other things you can do. There are other careers. A lot of us didn't even start with the career that we started out. We're not doing what we started out with. You change here and you change there. Those, the career can change, but the child, a child doesn't ask to be born into this world. A child comes into this world and demands, it's just demand, I need food, I need this, I need that. So I think family should come first. I think children especially should come first. And then after that, your career, so while doing while doing your career, you have to be thinking of how you're going to manage your family. But the truth is, not everybody uh, believes in having a family. If that's your choice, I mean, it's perfect. But this is my own opinion, and it's just because it's the true. Especially you've heard me saying children. I'm not saying stop your career because of your husband. No, that would be a selfish husband. I'm saying stop your career because of your children. If it's conflicting, take a break. Or think about what you can do, or seek help. Seek help. It's not easy. That's the truth. And we are hoping men really understand that it's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah, but I would say, I personally, I would choose my children any day. In fact,
Mm.
a lot of things I could have done, like opportunities. There's even I was supposed to direct a movie right now in Tulsa, this year. It's been directed, I probably will share it when it's out. So I'm kind of helping with producing, and guiding, but I was supposed to, how do I travel? So I told the guy, I said, see, I have 5 kids. How am I going to travel with all these children to Tulsa? Even in this time, let's even forget that there's coronavirus. How do I do that? And then
Mm.
next thing, okay, I have to get someone to stay with them. But then with all the quarantine period, it was going to be too much. So
Yeah.
I would always, I would say there's so much I could have done if and now that the kids are older, yeah, I'm looking into like, you know, picking things up, you know. But
Thank you very
that's
much.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Dr. Kangon said, I agree with you totally. Thank you for that, Dr. Kangon. Now, it can be chaotic or crazy, you know, having how to manage the children, the husband or your husband, or your partner, you know, school, food, especially when they're younger, crawling, walking, and you also have a career. You are
Yeah,
like, I remember, I have friends working in the banking sector in Nigeria, and they have targets. They have to meet a target, and they have to
crazy.
go around looking for how to meet targets. And while they are doing that, they have to go pick the kids from school. If the husband is working out of town, they have to do homework. They have to go to extra lesson classes, drive down there, go pick them up. Dinner. Get them ready for school the next day. Also, they are quarreling with themselves. They're fighting. He's taking my toy here and there. I've seen that. How do working moms stay sane?
Are
Like
we
you have
saying?
a good example. You have, 5 children. How do working moms stay
So
sane?
let me tell you what I believe, honestly. I believe we get used to it. Initially you nearly run mad, and that's why there's all this postnatal depression. For a new mom, it's a big adjustment. But the moment you get into like a routine, you find out that you are just, you're able to sail through. And what people always do is try to find time for themselves. Just have that time, like, okay, today is my day. And then you try to do something, and also do things with your friends. Like, if not for corona, I tend to go out with my friends. In Nigeria, we used to go out a lot. We'll find one evening, go to this restaurant, go to that restaurant. Yeah, so find time for yourself, find time to have fun. I know people that all they want to do is sit down and watch movie, which is what I am now, and I schedule it. I'll just say, oh, on Friday, I'll watch a movie. Usually maybe Sunday evening after church, I'm like, I'm gonna watch a movie, and I'll just sit down, find some time, to watch. So it's just knowing that you need to find time for yourself. You need a break from time to time. The other thing is we need spousal support. This
Mm,
is for people that have a spouse. They need spousal support. A lot of men, yesterday we were talking about this issue. I was saying how a lot of men don't understand what women, the challenges women go through. Same way a lot of women don't understand the challenges that men go through. We both do not fully understand, each other. You know, Men need to understand that women are there. A lot of women are doing the same job you're doing, and then they have the house on top of it.
mm,
A lot of men need to just understand that and then support their wives. Tell your wife, hey, go, take today off, which maybe, well, maybe it happens in some homes, but, just allow her, give her some breathing space, because if she breaks down, you'll still be the one that will still run up and down. My wife is not feeling well, so you just finding that, just understanding, that your wife needs a break as well, and then the wife has as well, understanding. I'm one of those people that I don't know how to take a break, I'm always doing this, and then I decided once the church started, I was almost breaking down because it now became almost like a lot for me. So I said, okay, Monday was my day, so Monday I'll just sleep in, try to, so I think that's what women need to do. And also pursue having a career is actually one of the things that helps you as a mom to stay sane.
mm,
That's the having that other thing you do apart from the children. You know, Number one, it helps to put them in daycare. So you have some time away, Yeah, because most times when you're working, you put them in a daycare or somewhere and then you come back to them, so that gives that break. Then number two, it gives you something else to think about, something else, it gives you another drive, another sense of achievement, So that's how what I think, you need to have time, me time.
mm.
I'm going to sit down, I'm going to enjoy myself kind of time.
Thank you very much. This is still the Global
Okay.
Talkative Series with Larry Ajayi, and our guest today is Juboke Olatunde, a filmmaker and a movie director. And our topic of discussion today is motherhood and career. And we've been talking about the challenges that goes around motherhood, working, and all of that. And you were saying something. One of the reason why our women can reduce, can stay sane, is getting a career, working. Now, among all of those things you mentioned, working here and there, there's no way at times you get stressed out.
Yeah.
You know, your boss is calling for this in the office, your husband is asking for this, and your children are asking for this, and then your own parents or your friends are calling you for this and that, and so many things, and then you want to have your own time to yourself, but you discover that while you're trying to balance everything, things just you're juggling many things at the same time, and oftentimes stress crept in on unexpected. People have a lot of women, they have this challenge, this high blood pressure, some challenges, while they're trying to do so many things at the same time. Now, how can working moms generally reduce stress? How can you turn it down? What are the things you do
I,
to reduce stress?
yeah, I think I just talked about that when I was talking about keeping sane. It goes hand
Mm,
in hand, but it's really just taking time out. Know to thy own self be true.
mm,
you know, know when you have to shut down. Know
mm,
when you have to take a break. Holidays are very good. My sister and her husband, they have this really interesting thing they do. But they'll go one holiday with the family, then another holiday just her and her husband. Nobody's changing diapers, nobody's, you know, that
mm,
kind of thing. Mommy, I want this, and I used to joke that mothers, we can put on our resume that like we can apply for what they call this thing magistrate jobs because every day you settle quarrel, you settle arguments. Yeah, it's always one dispute you have to, you know, use politics and it's just lobbying. Okay, you do this, let's do this, let's share this. You're always settling one dispute or the other. So those kind of uh things, having that time where you're not worried about any of that,
mm,
and it just boils down to being true to yourself. Take
mm,
time out, go to the spa, even though I don't go, but I have other ways to I distress. I actually find out that, just uh lying down on my bed, you know, I just lie down on my bed, and just take some time for myself, you know.
mm,
That's what works for me. So I think but people, you just need to find time to take a break. Just
mm,
say, this is it, And if you are lucky, you have a mother, you have some family support, you can always do that. I know my life changed so much since my sister and her kids came last year. A lot changed for me. A whole lot changed from just having that extra person, just being able to go out of the house. Before anywhere I go with my boys because they fight too much. So I was
mm,
always afraid that if I come home for one person, will not have hurt somebody else, So I always went out with them every time. So imagine I even just need to go to Walmart. I go with three kids, So just knowing, you just really need to know when to take a break. And if you have resources, again, please use them, especially family resources.
mm.
Use them. Go to the gym. Exercising. It gives that feel good. It makes you feel good. So exercising, feeling good about yourself. There's something about feeling good about yourself. When you feel good about yourself, if it's even healthy for the kids, if you notice, like when I was growing up, my mom kind of her mood kind of dictated the mood of the house.
Mm.
So whenever she was happy, the house is happy. Whenever she's not happy, everybody's, oh, mommy, what's wrong? What's wrong? So it's also important. It's part of being it's part of what you need to do as a mother to make sure you are okay. When people talk to me, because, I seem to be busy, busy, they're like, if you break down now, there's nobody that can do all these things. And it's true. Who's going to come take care of the children, take care of this, take care. So I think women, we just need to
That is
say,
amazing.
it's okay, I'm going to take a break.
Yeah, thank you. Sam, Motive Photography said, true, mothers are not appreciated enough. Thank you for that.
Enough.
Now, talking in terms of playing the magistrate role at home, the judge, how do you
And you,
balance things? How do you balance things? Because, I've seen in some quarters where the father prefer the daughter and the mother prefers the son. How do you stay balanced by not saying, okay, this is my favorite child, to show favoritism to one child over another, which I don't think, in my opinion, is good to have. This is my special daughter or my special son, and you have special affinity. How do you stay that rule? How do you create that balance, as playing the role of a magistrate in settling quarrel or settling scores or fights, with children, your children? How do you do that balance? How do you maintain that balance so that because these children, they are very sensitive. They can sense, they can feel that, okay, my dad likes my sister or my brother more than me, or my mom likes this. So how do you do that to maintain
so
that
I
balance?
I think before I will talk about that, I want to talk about how it happens. Why? I always try to look at why before I talk about. So, why is because you have this child that listens to you, probably has your temperament, or sometimes opposite, because sometimes opposites don't, people that have the same kind of character, they don't get along, right? So, you have this child that listens to you, that does everything, makes your life easy. And then you have this other child that you have to shout and talk. And me, I'm lucky, the two boys are the same. I will talk, 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 talk. Will you do this? Do this, But the thing is, you have to understand that the other child is first and foremost, they are both your children. I don't know if any child grew up being the favorite, they may think, okay, it's okay. There's any parent, but it's really not okay. When you're on the receiving end, it can do a lot of damage to that child. So
Yeah.
as a mother, you have to just take it for what it is. This child says, he threw my thing on the floor, and then you address it according to the situation. Get whoever needs to apologize. You don't start saying, you're always in, no, no, no. Just each situation. That's why I say magistrates. Each situation that comes up, you handle it based on its own merits. Like my son, when, like yesterday, he was having an argument with my niece. I talked to them. He said this thing. He said, I like my niece more than him. And then I said, okay, if I like her more than you, why do I like her more than you? And he said, because she does all this stuff. And I said, okay, why don't you do all that stuff? And then he
mm,
said, okay. So today he made lunch, he made breakfast. In fact, as I woke up, I woke him up and everything. And then in the evening, before we slept yesterday, I called him and I talked to him. You know, children would always tend to think, okay, like when you correct them, they might think, hey, maybe you correct this one more than that one. And then it looks like it's because you like this one more. No, it's not. It's just because there's more that I need to work on with you. So
mm,
I personally, what I do, I'll go on YouTube, I'll check for TED Talk, you know, and then we'll play maybe TED Talk on agreeableness. I'm talking up to my son a lot about being more agreeable, talk about agreeableness. What are the pointers, what are the things that it can cost you? Because when I tell them myself, sometimes they don't listen. They just think, okay, like you said, oh, maybe it's because this person is a favorite, you know. But if you can let the child understand, like, okay, it's not this child just gets into less trouble than you get into more trouble. And if you're getting into more trouble, it's because you do this and this and this. Our parents never really reasoned with us. They just reacted. And then sometimes we thought it was wickedness because we couldn't understand. I think as parents now, we need to try to let kids understand, okay, this decision was, and I'll ask him, I'll throw it back to them. I'll say, okay, if it were you, if maybe Daniel or someone younger or Damola did this to you, do you think you'll be upset? Yes. You say, so can you see why I'm upset? So it's dialogue, and then also now talk about the people that actually are biased to their own children. I don't know how they do it, to be
mm,
honest. I don't know how you can have two children and you like one, you won't like, I think, I don't know. I tell my daughter that she's my favorite in the whole wide world, but she's not my favorite, you know. You can't really say, I don't know, except you didn't give birth to the child. I don't know how you can have a favorite. So I'm of the opinion that it's just the way the children see it, and usually it's when a child is maybe stubborn, and then you have to, my younger son gets into more trouble, and he does wrong. So all I have to do is explain to him, so I make a judgment, sometimes he now cries, then I'll call him at night. I'll call him. I told him, go and get ready for bed. Go and get ready for bed. He went to get ready. I said, come, so that we'll spend time. And he likes that. He said, let's spend time together. He'll be so happy. So come, and, hey, so I'll watch and I'll play YouTube, some TED Talk, or there's some people I follow, Jordan Peterson. There's some people I follow, because I like their reasoning, So I'll show them, okay, see what this man says, what do you think? They say, but she did. I said, see, it's not about what she did. Then I'll use some examples from myself. So I don't think anybody should have a favorite, but if you think you do, or if your child keeps saying it, you need to be able to manage it, because whether it's founded or unfounded, the child is forming an opinion. So it's just,
mm,
and then also look for opportunities to praise that child.
mm,
So something I probably won't praise. My son made, he made food today, everything. I'm like, oh wow, not like he just made a bar, but cleaned up, did the dishes, and he became so proud of himself. Why? Yes, guess what? I did the dishes. I'm in charge. He said, I'm now Lalade. I'm now Lalade. Lalade is the niece that is in charge, But it's just find time, and then praise them, especially when my own case is different. My older son is more emotional. The younger one is less emotional. So I actually find myself spending more time with him because he's more emotional. But then the younger one will say, oh, you're spending more time. So I will find that I say, go, yeah, get ready for bed. If you're in bed by 9, let's spend time together. This is our time. Then we'll sit down and watch Roblox, which I don't understand, but I know it's important to him. So I started picking interest in it. Yeah, so that's just how I think. As a mother, you settle quarrel. The quarrel you even settle is, um, I put this here, then he put it, then it's mine. And last time he said this, That's how I came. It's one issue you're settling quarrel, but you need to know that these little things build a child. So find time. Commend the child that you're not spend that you're always correcting, commend them,
Mm,
and also try to let them reason. We think these children cannot reason. Once my son got to like 8, we started talking more, because I tell people I was not brought up with cane. I was brought up with talk. In fact, at some time I preferred the cane to the talk, but I was brought up with talk. My dad would talk, my mom would talk. My mom told us so many stories that by the time I grew up, I there are things I already knew I wasn't going to do just because of what she said. I already know, oh no, when I get to school, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. She didn't give me rules, and she just talk. So let's not underestimate that, especially with the boys. Just
mm,
talk. Don't do
mm,
this, don't do this. So, and then reason. Try to see, okay, well, this thing you did, if this person did it to you, okay, when Daniel took your thing and he broke it, how did you feel? So, okay, now you broke my thing. Am I supposed to be happy? You have to reason with them. And like, hey, no, but it was a mistake. I say, yes, when Daniel did it was a mistake, but you yelled at him. I'm not even yelling at you. And you're angry that I'm correcting you. And I say, okay, I'm sorry.
mm,
Okay.
mm.
So you have to use, you know,
Wisdom and
diplomacy.
skill and diplomacy.
Yeah, but you just
That
have
is
to find a way around
amazing.
it. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned a word, cane, cane. Like
Yes.
so that is that that takes my mind back
Well, growing up.
to discipline. Discipline.
Yeah.
I grew up in an environment
Yes.
whereby my
Yeah.
dad, hardly cane. Is talk. My mom cane.
Yes. Same.
My mom cane. Cane as in, discipline. But in the Western world of today, even you see it around in schools in Africa, our kids are like disciplined. Cane, but here is a different ball game, and we have kids in this environment. How do you discipline a child? What are the things so that because discipline doesn't like necessarily mean you injure or you damage their body or you do something or speak a word that is derogatory to them or something, but there should be some form of discipline. How do you discipline a child as a working mom? What are some of the disciplinary measures you can put in place to get your kids corrected or to sort of correct them in love?
Take their phone. That's the only advice. Take their phone. Okay.
What if you don't
It's
have a
where
phone? What if you don't
take
have a
their
phone?
phone.
What if you don't have a
No, I
phone?
mean most. So the thing is, when they don't have a phone, you have to look for something. There's always that one thing they're interested in. There's always that one thing. Okay, you're not going to. I would hardly find a child now. Okay, like okay, maybe when they're younger, is it? When the younger kids have iPads. The younger kids have iPads these days. So take you have to. It's deprivation. You deprive them of, and it's deprivation of like what's the word I'm looking for, of maybe treats. My daughter, I find myself having very little problem with her, very little, because once you just correct her, just start crying. But my boys, my son, you take this, take that, you still want to do what he has. You do this, you still, But I find the phone is usually the most effective for me. Just say, okay, drop your phone. You lose your phone for one day, mom. But Can I get it? Then 30 minutes like, mom, I've done everything. Can I get it back? So then people do make say, take away privileges. Actually, that's what I was looking for. So take away privileges. If the child is very young, you're being naughty, you're not going to go to the park. I want the kid to, oh, mom, and then you make sure you follow through.
Mm,
Don't take them to the park. Take all the other children to the park. I remember once my son, I said he wasn't going to go to a party. And then everybody went to the party, those kind of things, And then the other, also, well, I think it's basically just taking things away. So sometimes you won't place things, you give them things so that you can take it away. I will give a very funny example. I started giving my kids $25 every month just because I hope they're not listening. Yeah, but I knew that. So they break things a lot. they'll break this one, break this, they'll take something, they just want to find out, it's broken. Things that are important to me or to their dad. So when I give them, so every time they lost something, I say, okay, you have to pay me back. So you give me back $3. I say, oh, I have to fix this thing. If I fix this thing, it's going to cost me $20. Give me your 20. I found out they started becoming more responsible, you know.
Mm.
Not it's not worked like magic,
Yeah.
but they started, because I said, so I said, okay, you broke this tap now. Should I use my own money to fix it, or should you use your own money to fix it? I said, but I said, no, 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 I understand you, it was a mistake, but should I now use my own money so I found that that worked. I know most of this applies to older kids, but that's the point where you can reason with them. When they're younger, it's just basically timeouts.
Mm.
I won't let you visit your friends, but you just need to figure out what that child likes. My older son loves money. So that money one, he doesn't. If I say, okay, you didn't like he at night he's supposed to even tape his mouth to sleep. You won't tape your mouth every time day you don't tape your mouth. You give me $1. You know, he'll
Mm.
what after gives me number one, number two, number three. Before you know, he tapes his mouth. His teeth has even corrected. I'm actually the one wearing a brace now, trying to fix mine. So that's just how it is. It's not easy. There's no one size fits all, for
Mm.
kids. So I think also the most important thing is we need to pray. I know how many prayers I've prayed. I know how many tears I've cried because of my children. So we need to pray. We need to understand. We have a prayer group every Friday, and every single Friday we pray for our children for this one reason: you can take care of your child. You can teach your child right and wrong. And then just because the child starts hanging out with the wrong crowd, everything goes away. Children are more influenced by their peers. They want to fit in. So I pray, I start praying, their friend, their girlfriend, the people they will listen to, the people that will be bad to them, God will separate them. You have to make those declarations as well, because when you see someone that didn't turn out well, it's easy to say, oh, the parents didn't bring them up well. Some parents are bringing them up well, but they
Yeah.
now fell in love with one girl that's smoking weed. And that's how they started smoking weed. And that's how their life went down. So it's just finding that we need to pray. We really need to pray for our kids.
That's amazing. Now we have about 8 minutes more before we end this broadcast, and it's still the Global Talkative
I don't
series
know.
with.
Sorry if I'm interrupting. I don't know if
No,
the
no, don't
Instagram is
worry.
hanging.
It's angry, but it's back. It's back. It's back. It's back now.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
this is still the Global Talkative series with your host Lanre Ajayi, and our host today, our guest today is Juma Kalatunde, a filmmaker and a movie director, and our topic of discussion today is motherhood and career. And we've been talking about mother, career and all of that. But I want to just quickly, touch on a topic. There are single parents, single mother, single fathers as well,
Yeah.
especially focusing on women today on a topic, how do I cope as a single mother, or how can I be happy as a single mother? Because we've been talking about working moms, and also trying to relate. Okay, having spousal help or partners help. What about those who are single mother or single parents? How with that? How can they? Because it is more tougher on them as a single mother or as a single parent. Maybe for one reason or the other, you don't have a partner or something happened, there's a challenge here and there, and you just find yourself that you're the only person, you're the father and the mother to your children. So how do I cope as a single mother? How can I be happy? How can I juggle all of that together
That's with the career
with a
and
career,
the
home
children.
front, work, everything? Yeah, business and career and life. How do I cope as a single
So
mother?
the yes. So it's not easy. Like you said, it's really, really not easy. I think it was who was that? There was one lady that posted, I don't know if it's one of these Nollywood celebrities on Father's Day. She posted Happy Father's Day to me. So the job is double, it's triple now because you're a father, you're a mother, and you are a career person. But most people, if that's the situation you're in, you would need to, the first thing is to accept that it's going to be challenging. You have to tell yourself the truth. This is not going to be easy, but I'm going to do it. I don't have the man that will come and fix the sink.
mm,
Me here, I live with the kids alone. Last last month I had to fix my dishwasher. I just finished
wow.
painting my house. Yeah, because I'm very hands-on. I'm actually very DIY. That's one of the things I found out about myself coming to Canada. That I love DIY. So I just finished painting my house. And I have toolbox. Well, my husband always had his toolbox. I have two drills. So I'm just saying all this to let mothers know it is possible. You know, what has helped me in doing all these things is the first time, okay, I had something go bad, in Nigeria, then I'll call my husband. He was not here. I had to try and figure it out, and then as I started figuring it out, I started seeing on YouTube women that build stuff, so I've built a headboard, I've built a cornice, I just started building stuff, and I found out that I am able. So I just want to tell women that are in that situation that you are stronger than you think you are.
Mm,
There's so much, you have so much strength. The fact that you want to succeed, that you have children, or that you don't have a spouse does not mean that you can't do it. You can. There are people that have done it with even less resources, so you can. You just need to make up your mind that it's not going to be easy, but I'm going to do it,
mm,
and also, like I said, do use your resources, so if it's daycare, if it's your mom, if it's an older auntie, whatever it is, you just need to know that you can, and God will help you. A lot of women here, they're not really single mothers. They have a husband, but maybe their husband is abroad. You're basically a single mother. Because you come home, you cook, you do this, do this, do this. After that, you still counsel, you still, there's nobody that's, please take the children, let me sleep. So it's not easy, honestly, but you can. People have done it. You can. You are strong. You are able to. So tell yourself that you are able to, and you will do it.
mm. That is amazing. In closing, one final words in just about a minute to our guests out there watching us on the same topic, motherhood and career. What final
One,
thought?
okay, final word. I would say this to the young girls, especially, whatever you can do. I tell anybody that is single, whatever you can do before you get married, do it. If it's ICANN, ACCA, masters, whatever you can achieve before you get married, do it, because it doesn't get easier. When you're a single girl, you finish work, you come home, you sleep. You decide, I don't want to eat, I sleep. But once you have that child, your whole life changes. So whatever you can do before you get married, do it. For those that are already mothers, and are getting lost, I would say don't let your career go to waste. Have something, that you're just have something you're still doing. Like I said, if you're abroad, maybe part-time. If you're in Nigeria, that even you can start a business. You can look for some volunteer work. We don't talk a lot about volunteer work in Nigeria, but you can volunteer. You can volunteer in your church, for maybe the technical departments, like if you wanted to do film, or like the media department. You can get a career out of being in the media. You can volunteer, just have that thing you're doing alongside. And if maybe none of that fits, then you can get like an online degree. Thank God so much this year, so many things are now online. Get an online something, prepare. I was talking to a lady yesterday, and I was just telling her, okay, yeah, you're doing customer service now, but you need to have that plan. And she's like, okay, I said, no, 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 you do it now. So that the moment this child is in that daycare or whatever it is that frees you and gives you that time, you hit the ground running. So just get that something, because you don't want to not have a life outside of your kids. You need to
Mm,
have a life. You're a person, wonderfully, beautifully made. You have I tell women, I say, you have your own destiny. A lot of us as women, when we got married, we get lost in, oh, my husband, and then you forget that you yourself, God has something. You're disappointing God. God has put something in you that you need to manifest. So I would say that to women, please you have something in you. Don't let it go to waste. Manage your time, but also know that you need to release whatever it is God has put in you.
Thank you very much for hanging out today. Hanging out with us on today's Global Talkative series. We're timing out on Instagram, and then we're just running up right now on Facebook and YouTube. And for all our guests who are watching us from around the world, thank you so much for joining today's broadcast. It's bye for now. Have a wonderful day. And to our guests, Jumoke, thank you very much for coming on the show. Bye for now.
Thank you.